filming your child's meltdown, then proceeding to post it as social media content is definitely a choice, and one that should be shamed. Why is it these parents' first thought, seeing that their child is overwhelmed by the big world around them and not quite knowing yet how to properly regulate their emotions, is to annoyingly wave a camera in front of their child's face whilst the child is begging for them to attend to them properly, but this content's sole purpose is to be posted for strangers to point and laugh at. At the cost of a child's dignity, these parents purposefully pander to hateful strangers on TikTok who rip that said child to shreds in the comments, all because what? A child is presenting rather unpleasant behavior, but is not really outside the norm for a kid. It's even more grotesque with the parents of autistic children, as the TikToks of their meltdowns are never usually for educational purposes to say, hey, this is what this looks like, and here is exactly how I handle this to help you handle this better in the future. And I'm sorry, I'm giving none of these parents in today's video the benefit of the doubt because I know what their sneaky asses are doing. This child is having what appears to be a severe meltdown, and here her parents are filming it with no commentary. Not asking her if she is okay, not asking her, what is wrong, sweetheart? How can I best help you in this situation? Just following her around with a camera whilst she is slapping and biting herself. It then cuts to the mum picking up the girl, hugging her again on camera to show everybody I'm not a complete monster filming my overwhelmed child. I hug her, so it's definitely okay for me to post this without her consent, nor does she really understand what this video could possibly do to her in the future. But my question is, why exactly was this TikTok filmed in the first place? It would be one thing if this parent was filming this video for the sole purpose of showing their healthcare providers. But I feel like posting this to TikTok is exploiting something that the child didn't agree to. This little girl was visibly so overstimulated, she is trying to harm herself. It is ultimately such an uncomfortable watch, and a lot of the comments are absolutely awful at that too, because is she acting like this over an iPad? Well, no, because you don't actually know the situation. And even if she was acting like this over an iPad, it is ultimately the parent's fault. When the parents clearly posted this because they wanted sympathy of, look at what I have to deal with. And maybe they're not saying it verbally, but I know for damn sure that is the purpose here. The child needed to be attended to, but no, let's make content out of the fact. And a big reason as to why I believe these TikToks are never really posted with good intentions is because of the viral TikTok hashtag. It would be one thing if the child's identity was completely hidden from the possible tens of millions of people who are bound to come across this video. So for example, she's never recognized in public. This video does not come back to haunt her in her adult life. Not that it should, by the way, because she can't exactly control these feelings. I mean, her parent was following her around harming herself and wasn't really doing much about it. There is no effort in concealing her identity, as you've already taken the consent away from her on whether or not she is comfortable with having this private moment plastered all over TikTok. Most of the videos on this mum's TikTok account are of her and her children, but they don't get as much views as to when she posts her daughter's meltdowns. They're not educational videos by any means. This parent has a clear motive for it. Why else post these videos? Genuinely, why? Especially with the viral TikTok hashtag. You can spread awareness on these topics without exploiting the child in the process. Filming them in their most vulnerable moments to post to TikTok for sympathy points definitely won't get you any sympathy from me, because why did you have to do this to her? When you made the decision to have a child, you are parenting a plethora of possibilities as to what that child is born with. I completely understand that it's hard for so many people who aren't equipped with the proper tools in handling such situations, but handling it isn't plastering your child across TikTok for public consumption. Hot take, but shouldn't really be a hot take. I don't think this kind of content should be available for public consumption whatsoever. Unless, however, you are educating people, in which most of these parents, if not all of the parents we're going to be talking about in today's video, are not doing. It's a, hey, look at what I have to deal with.
Up you get off the floor. Okay, if you get off the floor, you can have it. Calm down. Are you gonna stop throwing it on the ground?
Hey, calm down. Calm down. Are you gonna stop throwing things around? Hey, calm down. I don't know how kids are tolerating their parents using them as an opportunity to get viral TikToks. And it's obviously for the fact that they don't really understand what's going on, and they've grown up having a camera waved in their faces 24/7. But it's the fact that this newer generation of kids are gonna have to unpack so much trauma in the future, because this kind of stuff is pretty much only unique to them. I'm 23 years old, and when I was a kid, there was no TikTok. There wasn't an avenue where our parents could take videos of us and exploit us for followers and likes and views. I mean, why the are you, 1, filming this, 2, waving the phone in front of your son's face, making the situation worse, and wondering why he won't calm down? There are people walking past him. You are in a Kmart. You're also on your phone recording him, thinking, why isn't he calming down? Like, it's just such a weird anomaly to me. Hey, so maybe you're not attending to your child's needs, and instead you're using this as an opportunity to meet your creator fund quota for that day. Yeah, I'm gonna be a little bit of a bitch here, because if you're not gonna stand up for your own child, then someone has to. Hell, I'd be throwing my dummy out the pram too if all my mum was concerned about was getting her TikTok likes off of my pain. Now, of course, because he's only just a little boy, it looks like he's 3 at most, just a toddler, he could be throwing a tantrum for a plethora of reasons. We don't know this kid. We don't know if his mum told him, well, no, you can't have that. It's still no excuse to do this to him. And of course, the person who posted this video was none other than a TikTok influencer. So it's not really outside of their realm to not be using their brain. I get it. She was responding to comments from people saying that filming him isn't going to make this any better by calling them all Karens. Yes, because people with common sense who aren't obsessed with TikTok clout tokens are all just yapping Karens and aren't just trying to make you see where you're going wrong. Because I mean, you gotta really wonder, why else are these TikToks posted? To meet the creator fund quota for that day? To have your 3rd TikTok up for that day? Absolutely atrocious. Put the damn phone down and stop treating your child as if he is an accessory for your shitty TikToks.
This is a cute outfit.
No, it's not.
That doesn't match.
It doesn't matter. I don't want to look like a bear.
It had to wear a sweater.
I don't want to look. I don't want to wear a bear sweater. Give me my purple sweater.
Okay.
I'm getting my purple sweater.
You're gonna look crazy today. Well, then get some black leggings while you're in there. Because you can't wear the flower leggings with stripes. What is going on in my life? She's 5 years old.
Okay, so we've got another post from another TikTok influencer. Who would have thunk? Thought it would be a good idea to post her daughter's very visible identity having a tantrum over what she's going to be wearing for school. You having tattoos, dyed hair, and piercings is fine. You're able to express yourself, no matter how silly you may look to other people. Not that I think that this woman looks silly at all. I don't really care about people's appearances, you know? A lot of people outside of the alternative looking folks think that we look crazy in general. So what's the big deal with your 5-year-old daughter looking crazy at school? She's a little kid. I don't really think little kids are going to be looking at what other little kids are wearing and are like, actually, babes, stripes don't really go with spots. Now, putting aside the fact that this mum is acting like Anna Wintour is going to show up to the school that day and spit on her kid for wearing dots and stripes, at what point are we going to put the phone down and stop propping it up for every single moment of your kid's life and attend to these situations offline? This was a very good opportunity to teach your daughter about how important individuality is. How at 5 years old, you don't need to look good for anybody, because regardless of the fact that this woman has millions of followers over on TikTok, she still posted this for validation. Your daughter needed you to listen to her for once. But instead, the phone was propped up, TikTok absolutely ready to go because you knew that she was going to have a tantrum over this. Therefore, you get free TikTok content out of it. Why are you, as a mother, allowing other people on the internet to parent your daughter? I don't even know who would find this kind of content entertaining either, because it's literally just a kid crying to her mum, trying to get her to have a one-on-one time without TikTok having to be present every single second. These kids have absolutely no say in whether they are posted to social media. And just because you want to be a social media influencer doesn't automatically mean that your kid wants that life. I will never really understand new age parents because they're all about, you know, I don't want to do the same thing that my parents did and force a life upon me that I never wanted. You're doing the exact same thing, thank you. Lucky this video didn't expose the identity of what looks to be a toddler, but it doesn't really matter because the comments are just full of racism, none of which I am going to repeat on my channel as it is really painful and I really don't want anybody to be distressed over the language, but this is a incompetent parent that we're dealing with. Why are we pointing the finger at a kid who is clearly going through something, meanwhile their parent is completely egging them on? I don't doubt for 1 second that this father took his son to the grocery store just so that he could get a viral video for that day, because it's going viral on Twitter right now, and you could only imagine what those idiots are saying about a toddler. This is a prime example as to why a child's tantrum should never even touch the upload button over on TikTok, because it attracts the absolute bottom of the barrel crab mentality kind of motherfuckers that don't care what the they say to a child. The dad in this video didn't bother to stop his son from making a mess at the shop because TikTok clout. He wanted his viral moment to be off the back of his toddler son, who doesn't know right from wrong because he's fucking 3. And because we live in such a hateful, extremist social climate at the moment, the comments were flooded with some of the most disgusting shit you could say to a child. But of course, like always, it's never really the parent who is at the point of criticism. The finger is always pointed at the kid as like, why is that kid acting like a kid? Here is some gross, hateful slurs. Why does a 3-year-old not really understand the concept of right or wrong? Probably because that's the parents' fault. Maybe we should start shaming the parents more instead of kids who are just being kids. But unfortunately, this generation of parents are way too obsessed with sweet, sweet TikTok clout. Even if they have to throw their kid under the bus and embarrass them for the rest of their lives, there needs to be consequences for this kind of shit, or it's only going to continue to happen.
Oi! Hey, you're gonna break the glass.
This is a really tough one because your kid is telling you that you don't care about his situation, and he might be right because you're outside of the bathroom sneakily filming this entire ordeal and not attending to him whatsoever. I think by now we know the reality of being a parent to an autistic child. We constantly see videos about it. There are hundreds upon thousands of videos free to access all the time to see what you would be getting into being a parent of a possible autistic child. But what frustrates me about these videos is you guys act like they are spawns of Satan. Stop doing this. Stop demonizing these children because they haven't received the right care yet. I completely understand that it would be tough from a parent's standpoint to deal with these kinds of situations when they arise because there really is only so much you can do. And if you don't have the money, it is going to be a lot harder to treat this kind of stuff. The comments on this TikTok were even turned off. So you could only imagine what is being said in those comments. But can we maybe find another way to attend to a child's meltdown instead of presenting a rather lack of emotional intelligence by filming this shit? He is in a very vulnerable state. Given the fact that his identity hasn't been revealed, there are videos of him on your page. The only reason you didn't go into the bathroom and film him was because he was butt naked in the shower, which you shouldn't be filming children like that in that state whatsoever. Not even outside of the bathroom like this. Like, I just can't get over how fucking gross this is because you're forgetting about the fact that he goes to school. So his friends are gonna find this TikTok and they're gonna be like, oh my god, it's the kid who cries in the shower, haha. For whatever reason he's crying in the shower for, attend to it. Put the phone down. Why are you people so obsessed with filming your children who are in such a vulnerable state? It is disgusting. Parents who film their kids having meltdowns growing up are truly the worst type of people. They did not need a phone in their face to humiliate them. They needed you to understand them. I honestly don't believe that these parents over on TikTok care about that though. They themselves can't even fathom having their most awful moments plastered all over social media for gaining purposes. Like, it's one of the most least empathetic things to do. And these parents never put themselves in their kids' shoes. They just don't. That's why we see a plethora of these videos being posted all the time. Yet you chose to dehumanize them for simply being a child with too big of emotions they couldn't understand yet. Exactly! And it's always, well, there was no handbook to being a parent. Well, it's not exactly like you needed a handbook to tell you to not exploit your child's most vulnerable moments over on the Clock app. Yes, my mum did it with a video camera when I was a toddler, and the video haunts me because in the vid, she kept repeating, "You'll look back and see how pathetic you are," but every time I see it, all I see is a child. Well, that's probably because you are an emotionally intelligent human being with thoughts and feelings and empathy, and you understand the fact that toddlers don't quite have their shit together at the age of 3. It is really sad that the commenter's mum did this to them as a toddler, because it's like, what do you mean pathetic? You're quite the pathetic one for saying that kind of shit to a toddler, let alone filming it. Yeah, and not taking a minute and just breathing it out. I don't know what it is with parents filming and posting their kids to social media who are having these tantrums and meltdowns, but it has to stop. And if nobody is going to shame these parents, then I happily will. I don't care that I'm not a parent. People always tell me that I'm not allowed to speak on these situations because I'm not a parent and I would never get it. You won't get it until you have a fucking child. Actually, I don't need a child to speak on these situations. I have a brain and I'm using it. Maybe if you didn't care about followers and likes and views so much, you would see your child more as a human being. So I'm going to leave it for there, everybody. Are you somebody who has had to deal with this kind of stuff before? Let me know in the comments section below, or if you would like to say it anonymously, go over to dramakweensubmissions@gmail.com and send that over there. Thank you to everybody who is sharing their stories. They're so much appreciated, and this will always be a space where you can just yap your stuff away, all right? Thank you for your stay at Yappersville again today, everybody. I love having you all here. Please don't ever forget to take care of yourselves, and most of all, love your fucking selves. And stop filming kids and posting it to social media like this!